All right, so we will shortly have the great honor of talking to the reigning Miss South Africa, Shudufhadzo Musida. She's apparently ready for us now, and of course, Musida has launched an online health initiative that's called #Mindful Mondays, focusing on mental health and online bullying. Musida was crowned in October last year and said at the time that she would raise awareness around mental health issues. The first program, hosted in conjunction with the South African Depression and Anxiety Group, launched on her Instagram platform. That was last week, Monday. Well, welcome to our reigning queen, Shudufhadzo Musida. Ms. Musida, thank you for being with us. Firstly, how are #Mindful Mondays? How have they been going thus far?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. Mindful Mondays have been going absolutely amazing. The response from the public has been overwhelmingly good, because a lot of people find it as a safe space where they can share their stories, where they can learn and be educated about mental health. And that was the objective of Mindful Mondays, to educate and to destigmatize mental health and inform how we as a society view it. So that was the goal, and I'm so happy to see it being achieved every single time we do a show.
You have been very open about about how bullying actually affected your mental health when you were a youngster. You are such a beautiful, incredible woman. I think people can't believe that you were bullied, and so many may be heartened if they face something like that. Can you give us some insight into a bit of your own experience?
I was bullied for about 6 years, from primary school until the beginning of high school, until I moved schools. It was a very tough time in my life, but I overcame it. I had to get to a point where I realized that my self-worth was not determined by other people. I had to get to a point where I had to learn self-love and just actually take care of my mental health, because if you don't take care of your mental health, you crumble, literally crumble. But I had to get to a point where I had to check in, look myself in the mirror, and just get help when I needed it. I think over the years, it's been a lot of undoing of the trauma that I faced. And I'm so happy to be in a space where I can speak about mental health freely, to be in a space where I can share my story and hopefully help the next person who's struggling with the same thing. I know it's not easy, but at the same time, I'm just very proud of the fact that most people are rising above it.
I think it's wonderful that you're doing that. You're using social media, but some would say social media is part of the problem, actually. Bullying is now happening on an unprecedented scale. Kids talk about hearing from people, getting hate messages from people that they haven't even met, because it spreads on social media. I guess you can address something like that in Mindful Mondays.
Yes, it's something that we can really address in Mindful Mondays, because we need to get to a point where social media has its pros and cons, right? Now we can do Mindful Mondays on social media and educate people through social media. I got help with my mental health through social media, but at the same time, I've been on the other side where people have cyberbullied me. But at the same time, I just realized that it's important for us to be responsible digital citizens and use it wisely, and use it in a way where it can help build and heal the nation, but it's not always used in the right ways. But at the same time, a platform like Mindful Mondays, we can address issues like that, but also use the same social media to educate and spread the message across.
Ms. Musida, if we look at the bigger picture, what a year to be crowned Miss South Africa and reign. Do you feel a bit cheated because you can't be the guest of honor at so many sort of razzle-dazzle events where we would like to see you? Or is this an opportunity for you to do incredibly innovative things virtually, like what we're talking about?
Yes, because a lot of people say you have such bad luck to be crowned during a pandemic, but at the same time, the conversation that I'm bringing to the table, my purpose, which is to spread the message of mental health and to stigmatize it and educate people, and hopefully let other people know that it's okay to not be okay. There's so much help out there, in conjunction with SADC and their resources. I think I was crowned at the right time when people needed this conversation the most. And in as much as it may seem as if I'm being cheated in comparison to previous years, I think this was my purpose. This was my time to be Miss South Africa.
Like you say, the pandemic exacerbating mental health issues. So let's talk about one aspect maybe people are watching and can learn. I mean, this last Monday, I think the focus was on teen depression, looking at suicide prevention, and you spoke to social media influencers. One of the things that you focused on was how do you know when your teenager is in trouble, and how do you start a conversation about depression or suicide? Can you give us any insight?
The conversation was literally about how we have to involve. It's a community effort. It's a collective responsibility. One thing that the educational psychologist Alzette Fritz spoke about was you need to provide a safe space for this to be addressed. You need to be able to let the child know or the teen know that it's okay to not be okay and that they're not alone. The biggest thing that they need to know is the fact that they're not alone. It is not a place to judge or to say to make them feel like what they're feeling is not right or what they're feeling is wrong. But it's a time to let them know that they've got a safe space in you as a parent or as a friend. I think it's one of those things where when you are approached with something like that, there's so many resources that you can use. SADC also offers counseling for those parents and those friends that may feel like a child needs help. So when we're speaking about it, it was just the importance of speaking until you're heard, but also letting the teen know that they're not alone and that it's not the end of the world. Because a lot of times, especially as teens and the pressures of high school and all that kind of stuff, they're made to feel as if the expectations on them are the end all and be all, But sometimes we need to prioritize their mental health in order for them to thrive and be the best that they can be, by letting them know that they're not alone and that it's okay. They've got so many people supporting them. So it's a collective responsibility.
So final question, I mean, how long will this run for? And if people need to hear this message, want to support, do they just join on a Monday?
So with Mindful Mondays, there's no date of when it's going to end. I want it to be something that continues for as long as possible, because people need to hear this message. This conversation of mental health needs to be normalized, so we can speak about mental health and get help without shame. I think it's quite an important platform, especially now during COVID and even after COVID, because a lot of people have lost livelihoods and loved ones. So I'd want it to carry on as long as possible, because every single week we reach different people. Every single week is a different story. Every single week is a different life saved. So it's quite important for this conversation to continue. And in conjunction with SADC, we'll try our best to make sure that it continues for as long as possible. And people can catch this conversation on my Instagram, Shudufhadzo Musida, on Instagram. Every single Monday, and at the Miss SA Facebook page every single Monday at 7 p.m.
All right. Well, it's been a great pleasure to chat to you. Thank you for taking up this issue. That was our Miss South Africa Shudufhadzo Musida.